Letitia James for president.
In the past week, Elon Musk and his so-called Department of Government Efficiency have accessed the personal private information of tens of millions of Americans and sensitive data about public and private entities, social security numbers, addresses, tax returns, and more. This unelected group, led by the world's richest man, is not authorized to have this information. And they explicitly sought this unauthorized access to illegally block payments that millions of Americans rely on. Payments for health care, child care, and other essential programs. Today, Democratic attorneys general are taking action to keep Americans' personal data secure, to keep sensitive information about Americans private, and to uphold our Constitution. We have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for giving unauthorized individuals access.
But I have to ask you if you have any response tonight to what the president's top campaign donor, Mr. Musk, said about you, bluntly calling you a traitor in response to you writing about your trip to Ukraine.
Well, Rachel, when I was 22 years old, before getting sworn into the Navy, or as I was getting sworn in to the United States Navy, I swore an oath to our Constitution to protect and defend the Constitution. I have lived that oath my entire life. I flew in combat in the first Gulf War. I served in the United States Navy for 25 years. I spent 15 years at NASA risking my life flying the space shuttle. And the only oath I can think of that maybe Elon has sworn is an oath to his own checking account, to his pocketbook, an oath maybe to ruining the lives of veterans. I had veterans in my office last week who, after really good performance reports, found out that Elon Musk fired them for poor performance. He has ruined these people's lives. They were serving our country again in very valuable roles, and they did not deserve to get fired by an email from an unelected billionaire. So I think Elon needs to, go back to making rockets. That's what he should focus on. He shouldn't be focused on this slash and burn of the federal government. And by the way, Rachel, he's doing it for one reason. He's doing this so they create a little space so the big giant tax cuts that they're going to give for millionaires and billionaires do not look as bad, does not add as much to the debt and deficit. And the way he's going to do it is he's firing people. And then on top of that, he's going to cut health care for kids that a third of kids get their health care, or a third of people that get their health care from Medicaid are children, and he's going to cut health care for seniors.
Why is Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency focusing so much attention on the Social Security Administration? What I'll argue in this video is that if you trust Musk and his motives to make the government, basically a tighter ship with less waste, fraud, and abuse, going after the Social Security Administration makes absolutely no sense. But if you don't trust his motives and if you think he's going to sabotage the government from the inside in order to benefit himself, it makes a ton of sense why he'd go after Social Security. So let me start with the basics. Social Security is funded top to bottom through your payroll tax contributions, including its administration. So when you pay 6.2% and your employer, or if you're self-employed, you pay another 6.2%, all of that finances Social Security, including the administration itself and all of the field offices. It doesn't get money from Congress to run Social Security. Social Security pays for its own administration through the same payroll tax contributions. It's a closed program. It doesn't get money from Congress. Well, you can go back to 1957 and see they have this table. I didn't minimize myself enough. They have this table to show you how much of your payroll tax dollars have gone to the administration of the agency. And you can see back in 1957, it was 2.2%. But if you fast forward to the 2020s and the 2010s, it's fallen to 0.5%, meaning that for all of the money that Social Security sends out the door, $1.5 trillion.
Seizing power from the American people.
No, he's not. He's doing what the American people voted for. We voted for the Department of Government Efficiency to come in and clean up all the waste in the system. In order for them to do that, that requires them to have access to the financials and see where money is being sent. This isn't complicated, but let's let her continue.
Elon Musk spent $280 million buy an election for Donald Trump. Now, Elon Musk is here to collect on his investment.
So what, is he going to steal the money out of my grandma's retirement account and deposit it in his account? What is he doing to collect on his investment? For one, he does not have the power to redirect any payments. He only has view-only access. But that's not convenient for the Democrats' fear-mongering. The reason he invested that money into the election is because he saw the Democratic Party as a threat to our civilization. He said this himself. I'm not saying this. He also has seen what the Democratic Party's ideals and values have done to one of his own children.
My advice to Elon would be try to fix the Republican Party. Try to push it in your own way. Disagree with me all you want, disagree with the President of the United States, but don't pretend that you can make a big difference with a third party.
Although we do not have to hear directly from Elon Musk as much anymore, the devastating effect that he has had on our politics is still around today. And of course, the biggest and ugliest example of that is Donald Trump, who Elon helped get elected with hundreds of millions of dollars and some unseemly tactics that are now blowing up in his face in a criminal scandal rocking Elon Musk. We are going to get into these crimes, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the criminal election scandal Elon Musk is being hit with, I want to start with a different attempt to undermine our elections that Donald Trump is carrying out against mail-in voting that was called out. Stop people from engaging in politics. That fundamentally MAGA wants us to be pessimistic, but he always wants to be able to muddy the waters, claim victory, especially ahead of 2028, when we know Donald Trump still wants to run for an illegal third term. And it seems like the biggest impediment to that might not be the law, because Donald Trump doesn't care, but J.D. Vance is getting in his way, which is interesting considering he just said this about Musk before we get into the criminal scandal it appears like is going to be funding his 2028 run, which kind of creates some problems for Donald Trump. Now, of course, he could just squash Vance with MAGA if he wants, but then why is Vance not really defending Trump on Epstein? Why isn't he doing everything he can to help him? Is it maybe for Elon, who Trump would never help again? I don't know. But this election crime scandal from Elon does add a bit of color to that all. Musk must face lawsuit brought by voters he convinced to sign a petition in $1 million a day election giveaway, judge says. A Texas judge rejected Musk's request to dismiss the lawsuit brought by a group of voters who say they were misled into signing a petition and handing over personal information for a chance to win $1 million. A judge in Texas denied on Wednesday Elon Musk's request to dismiss a class action lawsuit against him and his political action committee brought by a group of voters who participated in his $1 million a day giveaway leading up to the 2024 election. Over the last few months, lawyers for Musk and America PAC have sought to get rid of the lawsuit brought by voters in battleground states who claim they were defrauded when the tech mogul and his PAC misled them to believe if they signed a petition and gave away personal information, they could randomly win $1 million. In reality, Musk and his PAC had pre-selected people to win the $1 million in exchange for a spokesperson contract, meaning those who signed the petition had no chance of winning, while lawyers for Musk and the PAC argued that there were red flags to vote for Donald Trump because they thought that they could win $1 million. If people thought that they could just win $1 million, there's no reason why in a contract that was very vague, they didn't believe the contract was stipulating with their signature on the petition, they also needed to support Donald Trump as well. That is originally what got Elon Musk into the trouble. Now, I don't think this is the only reason he is now supporting J.D. Vance and is clearly backing him behind the scenes. Reports suggest that Elon wants to scare off other candidates. It's, of course, because he wants J.D. to come into power and give him all the same little gifts, all the same little carve-outs, all the billions of dollars that Donald Trump did, but maybe not create so many problems with his public persona. That's what he thinks is going to happen, but it's not. Because MAGA is going down with the ship that is Donald Trump, and that will start happening during the midterms, when we finally get a chance to vote against this administration. And two people who are making sure that we're fighting every day against that again are Gavin Newsom and Jasmine Crockett, and they were calling it all out right here.
So Elon Musk is in the process of losing his fortune. Tesla is being destroyed right before our eyes. Elon Musk is on Fox News whining like the little bitch that he is. And I can't help but think about the fact that this idiot did this all to himself. Imagine if he had made a different choice in 2024. Imagine if he just decided, you know what, I'm not going to get involved in politics. I'm just going to focus on my businesses. I'm going to focus on my dream of getting to Mars. I'm staying out of politics. None of this would be happening to him right now. His net worth would be going through the roof instead of crumbling before his eyes. He attached himself to the world's most despised person, Donald Trump, and he thought there weren't going to be any consequences.
Bad day for AOC, y'all. Is she about to get fired from her own district? Like the video right here and check this out.
Local leaders in the parts of Queens that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez represents are calling on FBI Director Kash Patel to take on the crimes and the gangs. They say, is getting worse. All of this is getting worse, despite a massive NYPD crackdown that started last year and resulted in hundreds being arrested. I'm going to show you, I was in your district with you at some points. Let's take a look at this flashback so we can show people what her district looks like. After 7 p.m., you cannot walk around here.
In the corner, every a week, you heard somebody was beaten.
Está muy inseguro.
Oh my
I feel
God.
very unsafe, truly.
Arrancar la cadena.
I've had 3 times someone try to assault me, try to pull my gold chain. So Ramses, you
Whoa.
live there. I was there just about a month ago. Same thing. I saw some of the same stuff. She's out fighting the oligarchy. She's on a tour with Bernie Sanders and
Imagine waking up one day and realizing that Elon Musk's little government experiment, Doge, has accessed all of your tax records, all of your social security numbers, all of your tax filings, all of them. Well, this isn't some wild conspiracy theory because it's actually happened. The integrated data retrieval system was accessed by Doge and his team of teenagers. And that data holds every single one of our social security numbers, all of our tax filings, basically everything, our bank accounts, everything. If this sounds like a privacy nightmare, that's because it is. This completely violates the Privacy Act of 1974. This was supposed to protect people from this exact kind of overreach. But let's be real. This is more than our social security number and our tax records. They have AI models, and they have the purest form of data where they can create profiles about us that you couldn't even imagine they could create now. And if Doge can access our taxpayer data that easy, what else are they going to get access to? Pretty much anything they want. So, yeah.
So Elon Musk has this company called Neuralink, and their whole goal is to put brain chips in people. And this isn't some faraway, distant future sci-fi thing. It's quite literally happening right now. I think they're establishing base at the University of Miami. They've already had a bunch of animal recipients, and this year they had their first human patient who can now play video games with his eyes. The idea is that this chip connects directly to your brain activity so that it can translate your thoughts into commands. Elon says the mission is to help people with neurological conditions, whatnot. Keep in mind, this man is not a neuroscientist, has no idea about anything about neuroscience. Then he also talks about how these chips could let humans merge with AI. Yes, you heard me. Did no one else read Cinder? The entire Cinder series. Am I crazy for tweaking out at the thought of this? The idea that there are people willing to insert chips into their brain is wild to me. The first thing I thought of when I heard of this was Cinder and every other dystopian sci-fi novel that has these chips and people, and the government ends up using the chips to not only track people, to be able to tell what you're doing at all times, to know where you are, like what entry points you're going into, and all of the citizens end up losing their humanity altogether. Like, yes, the helping paralyzed people walk again part is amazing, but is no one else concerned that a billionaire who already owns Twitter and SpaceX is now trying to own our brains? Does that not sound absolutely insane to anyone? It's giving you no longer have free will, and we are in hell. 'Cause what the fuck?